And charitable donations are not only good for the soul, but they're good for the tax return. Local financial professional Larry Kallevig from Haven Financial Group has some smart money moves to make before the end of the year. And Larry, just in time for Give to the Max Day. Welcome back to the program.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's fantastic. I know that charitable giving is a good way because you don't pay taxes on charitable giving. But I'm always confused on what charitable giving actually is. Like, how can people donate donations they make at church, or can people deduct donations they make at church?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. There's many different ways. And funny, that was my number one way at the end of this time of the year, especially, is to donate to charities. Because many of these tax advantageous ways that we can use at this time of the year required action before the end of the year to be used for this year. So charities, churches, Union Gospel Mission, great causes, any of those can be used for tax advantageous purposes.
So if you donated today, even if you didn't get a form when you donated, you can reach out to Union Gospel Mission or anyone. This is something to keep in mind for Give to the Max Day as well, because that's tomorrow. So all of these charities, the legitimate ones, will happily send you a form for a tax deduction. Right, Larry? That
is correct. And I would do due diligence. The ones you mentioned, I have a link on my website. IRS has some helpful tips on there so you can check out the different charity status, their reputation, and that type of thing as well.
I think that's really smart. Okay, so what were some of your other tips, your 5 smart money moves before December 31st?
Well, you hit the first one right on the head as far as the charities go. And I always encourage clients on that note that, every little bit matters. And the little cash that you gave over the course of the year, maybe you brought some clothes to Goodwill, or maybe there's some other items that you donated. Every little bit matters. Keep track of those receipts and keep, roughly the best values you can for tax purposes. And
sure.
And this time of the year, don't forget that time matters as well. I mean, many families I work with, including us, volunteering those hours, teaching kids and grandkids about giving back. How important is that?
That's even better almost sometimes than money, but you can't deduct time.
Can't deduct the hours.
Yeah.
You can use it as a teaching moment. Any out-of-pocket expenses, perhaps you can.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Then I feel better about that. We at work are going through this, open enrollment, healthcare, and this and that, and we've been having this big conversation in the office about flex spending. Is anything at work with healthcare or things like that? Are those deductions at all?
Absolutely. That is one of the other 5 that I have. Review your FSA flex spending account. Monies that you've been putting over the course of the year, just like a 401k, reducing your tax exposure. Important. However, review it because of this. Many plans, if you don't use it by December 31st, you may lose it, and that would be catastrophic. Now, some plans do have a grace period. Make sure you check with your employer to find out what type of plan you have.
Okay. All right. Now, you also sent me notes on tax-deferred accounts like 401k or an IRA. What do we have to do with those?
Max out those 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, making your contributions naturally. Work with somebody that knows which vehicle and what the maxes are, because there's limitations and so forth on those contributions. But max those out. Yes, you can wait till the filing deadline. But the sooner you put it in those vehicles, the sooner they can start growing.
Okay, excellent. All right, there you go. So whatever you can put in, if you have extra money to do so around this holiday season, make sure you get it in there because you can deduct it.
That is correct.
All right, let's talk about the house. We know that if you own one, you get a tax break. Any other ways to get any breaks for that?
Homeownership does provide a variety of different ones. And I can encourage you, I go to Haven Financial Group. I have some other information on there. 2 examples. I think they're great examples. Making that January mortgage payment early, before December 31st, using that mortgage interest as a deduction this year. Oh. Does that make sense? Or paying the property tax for next year early. For some, it makes sense. For others, it doesn't.
So why would it make sense? Because you'd be able to take that deduction next year anyway.
Yeah, but depending upon your tax situation this year, depending upon income in various years.
Well, give me an example of when it would be beneficial to pay it early.
Well, if you paid January's mortgage payment before December 31st, you could use that mortgage interest as a deduction off this year's tax return.
Well, I understand that, but if you just wait, you can use it off next year's, right? Doesn't it kind of come out in the wash?
But people's income varies, especially depending upon age, retirement, that type of thing. It may make sense or it may not make sense. That's why I consult a CPA or a tax professional, because not everything makes sense to everybody. But certainly, if people did more tax planning rather than just tax preparation, they may find themselves saving lots of money.
And you also have a tip for people paying off college costs.
Again, depending on the tax liability, that spring bill isn't due until January, but do you need that deduction for this year? Maybe paying it before December 31st, maybe. Are you taking advantage of that tax credit, the child tax credit, which is maxed at $2,500?
That's a lot.
There's a lot of credits. Laws change, tax code's complex. That's why I encourage working with somebody that is up on these things.
Yeah, so let them know if you're paying off or if you're helping your kids pay college costs, that's definitely something that your accountant needs to know.
Most definitely. And there's stipulations and restrictions as it relates to income and all these different credits. Naturally, the IRS has those regulations. You need somebody that knows those inside and out.
And Larry, did you say you had this on your website?
We have this on our website, a variety of these links to the IRS. There's a reason why at Haven we have a full-time CPA and tax professional on staff. Because these are such important questions.
I'm talking with Larry Kallevig from Haven Financial Group. Larry, give me the website and I will post it on my CCO Facebook site.
havenfinancialgroup.com.
Well, that's easy. havenfinancialgroup.com, and you can check out all of these tips if you missed any of them. Write them down, study them, learn them, talk about them with your CPA or your accountant, whoever's doing your taxes, because every little penny counts these days. So Larry Kallevig from Haven Financial Group, we so appreciate the time and the expertise.
Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate it. My pleasure.
You got it. Have a great night, Larry.